Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Chemical Engineer. I am Sahil Yadav and in this video we are going to continue our designing of shell and tube heat exchanger. So this is the part 1 in which we are going to design shell. So let us start the video. If you haven't subscribed us till now, please subscribe us and please join us on Telegram for more updates. Okay, so the first part to design in shell and tube heat exchanger is shell. So let me tell you what is shell. So this part is known as shell. Shell is actually the outer covering of the heat exchanger, which is also responsible for the heat transfer from shell to tubes or from fluid 1 to fluid 2 if we are using two fluids. Okay, so shell is in designing of a shell. What are we going to design? So the first thing is diameter of a shell. Next, material of a shell. Okay, two things we are needed to design in shell. Moreover, we have partition. So partition is nothing but, okay, so I will discuss it in the later part of this video. So two things or three things are needed to be decided for shell. Main thing would be our shell diameter. Okay, and what will be the size or length of a shell, you should also know that, so that I will give you. Okay, so let us start. All right, so first point, please note down side by side. For shell, first part is, it is the costliest part of heat exchanger. So it is the costliest part of heat exchanger. Okay, so this is the point 1. Now size of a shell is ranging from 6 inches to 60 inches. All these criterias are fixed by TEMA or IS 4503. So this is diameter generally. Okay, size means diameter. All right, so if we convert it into meter, 0.1 meter to 1.5 meters. Okay, so this is the size of the standard shell. Third, we have pipe size. So what does it mean by pipe size? So pipe size is 24 inches or more, or it should be greater than 24 inches. So you have to search on Google and tell me what pipe size I am talking about, which pipe size I am talking about, or else I will give you the answer in next video before starting the next video. Alright, so third thing is pipe size. Fourth, now let us see, we have two types of heat exchangers. Types. First is fixed tube. For as of now, you just remember the names of the both type. Second is the floating tube. Don't worry, the difference is tubes are fixed, tubes are floating, as the name suggests. So what we have, yeah, so here we have tubes. You can see these all are tubes, they are going in and coming out from here. So this tube in general will make a circle like this. Okay, So this circle will have some diameter. We call this as tube bundle. Okay, it is looking like a bundle. So this is known as tube bundle, or we can say bundle diameter, we can say. Okay, so this is tube bundle, and apart from tube bundle we will have some space here and here, both the side we will have some space. This space is generally for, let us suppose we call it as gap. Okay, we call it as gap as of now because we are not into technical terms till now. So call this as gap. So from this you can say that tube bundle, the length of tube bundle plus length of gaps at both the side will yields to the diameter of a shell. So that is the correct way. So let us see it in technical way. So why I discussed about fixed tube and floating tube? Because the gap that was standard as 10 to 20 mm. So this much gap is required. Minimum this much gap is required for fixed tube. And for floating tube 90 to 100 mm gap is required. Now you may ask that why the difference is there between the gaps. So difference is in floating tubes are not steady. They are actually vibrating and moving up and down. So that is why we have kept gap length more in floating tube compared to the fixed tube. Okay, so this is the basic reason. So please remember, this is the fourth point, that is of gap. Now let us see how to determine. So determining shell diameter. In designing of shell we need only diameter. Material is different thing. Mostly nowadays all shells are made up of stainless steel, or we can say as SS. So determining shell diameter. So there are generally three ways to determine shell diameter. First way is to get standard tables. So what this table will show you, that will show you if you have bundle diameter equal to X, then your shell diameter should be Y. Directly they will give you the value. If you give X value, they will give you directly Y values, or they have some connection. Okay, so these are the standard tables. You can Google it. You will find such tables in images. Okay, Google standard tables for shell and tube heat exchanger designing. You will get it. Second thing is by drawing it. So by doing a practical drawing, like we like this one that we have in photo, like this one. By doing the practical drawing, we can also find the shell diameter. Okay. And the third one, that is what we have to learn in our BTech, that is approximate equations. So approximate equations will give you the nearby or almost equal values of the shell diameter. So how to calculate shell diameter? So here we have approximate equation as shell diameter equal to bundle diameter plus C. Now what is C? We call it as clearance or if it is suppose given in your book as CC, you may call it as corrosion clearance. Okay, in layman language we call it as gap. That is what we have discussed earlier, this gap. So if you have fixed tube, it will be 10 to 20 mm. For the floating tube, it will be 90 to 100 mm. Okay, how we got this? So directly you may answer it, that is the inner diameter of shell minus bundle diameter will give you the clearance. So take the standard values for fixed tube and floating tube, both are for both different things. dB stands for the bundle diameter. Okay, that is what I have already discussed. Di is the shell inner diameter, ID. Now how to calculate bundle diameter? So that is, for that we have approximate equation as dB equal to d naught nt by k whole raised to 1 by n. Okay, now what is d naught? Tube diameter, outer diameter of the tube is d naught. So this value should be provided to you. Nt, so Nt is number of tubes, K and N, they both are constants. Okay, please note down this equation. From this you will get bundle diameter of the tube. Now K and N both are the constant. So if suppose in your exam or in your theoretical work, if suppose these values are not given, so you can calculate them as Pt by d naught. If suppose they are not given, so this value we can say belongs or to relates to the pitch of the tube. Pitch of tube divided by tube diameter, outer side. So this is how K and N are related. Now you may ask me, what is pitch? So don't worry, we will cover it in the later section of this video when we are covering the tube size or tube designing. Okay, so please remember all those equations which are discussed in this video. Okay, now let us see. Okay, pass partition plate. So pass partition plate are generally present in a shell. Suppose this is a shell, then we have a plate in the middle. Now this is the inlet, let us suppose, and suppose here we have outlet. So this way the fluid transfer from here to here. Okay, so this will be called as two pass. Why? Because the fluid is going to the first direction like this, and then it changes its direction to the second side. So this is two pass. Or if suppose we have two plates in between of the shell, inlet outlet is same, fluid goes like this, comes like this again, and then goes like this, then it will become 1 2 3 pass. Wait a minute, 1 2 3 4 pass. Okay, so this is how passes are determined. In general we have two pass shell, and okay, so in general I am talking, in most of the heat exchanger you will have two pass shell. So why we are putting two pass or more passes? So the answer is simple. In order to get better heat transfer or better delta T, that is temperature difference in inlet and outlet, then and then only we are providing passes. Okay, so in shell, pass partition cell is provided to avoid unfavorable temperature change. Okay, so in single pass there may be unfavorable temperature change, but if we provide various passes, then the amount of unfavorable temperature change will reduce. So that is why we are providing passes. Okay, so in general we can use single pass shell, like fluid enters, here we have tubes, fluid goes out from the shell. Okay, so for the shell, this is known as single pass shell. Okay, so this is all about shell side pass partition and designing of a shell. So I hope you are clear with it. So in this video we have learned about designing of shell, various equations and various methods of determining the shell diameter, and we have after that given the approximate equation for calculating the bundle diameter, and then we have seen about the shell side pass partition plate. So this is all about this first video. In next video we will discuss about the baffles. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe us and join us on Telegram, and also watch other playlists so that you can get more knowledge. Alright, thank you for watching the video.